And this is Mo.
Amen. Welcome to our family table once again. We're on the verge of celebrating 20 years of marriage.
Yay!
Amen. So we wanted to come to you today with the marriage episode, so to speak. So we're going to be in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5 and verse 22. And the Bible says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord."
That had to be the first one you read, huh?
Well, this is obviously one of the issues that women find daunting when entering a marriage or being married, is the fact that they're called to be in obedience to their husband.
Right.
And that gives off a picture of, okay, whatever he wants me to do, that's what I'm going to do. And that's really not what the Bible is stating. First of all, for a woman, before she enters a marriage, she should really examine that person to see if they're even worthy to be a leader over her. Or are they going to promote her? Are they going to have the same ambitions for her life? That you're not just looking for a man to enter a relationship with, you're actually looking for a husband. And that means that that person is worthy of that level of trust.
Right.
So that they can actually try and lead you into becoming a purpose-filled being before God. What do you see?
Well, sometimes it is, some women, kind of draw back, when you say, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your husband." But I look at it as obedience unto the Lord, because, the man is the head, and so I think a lot of women, kind of get away from it because, they see it as control, but it's actually love. That's how it's supposed to be. Just like we are obedient to God because he loves us and he does what's best for us, is the same way with the husband. The husband should love the wife, so that will make it easy for the woman to submit to him. The other thing is, being a man of honor and integrity and respect, and that also makes it easy for a woman to submit, to that man.
Yeah, because the thing about it is, you're not submitting to someone that is going to be abusive, because in his call to be a husband, he's also called to love. And the fact that he tells the husband to love, and he doesn't just mean love like be fond of. It is one of the most strenuous forms of love, that he gives himself for the person that he's going to marry. This marriage is not two individuals forming like a partnership. It is a merging of two individuals into one person or entity. So that means that I cannot abuse my wife because I'm called to love her. And if I'm called to love her, I'm called to give myself for her. And I'm called to in every phase, I want her to be the best. Why? Because I'm making myself better. If I promote her, if I love her, if I support her, if I motivate her, then that is the call that I accept to be her husband, not to be her man, not to be her friend. And I think that's the thing that people really don't understand about marriage, is that it is that level of commitment that I will accept the mantle of being a husband. If I don't accept the mantle of being a husband, I don't accept the call to love you.
Right. And I think as far as the wife's role, we're created to be the helpmeet. And, I know earlier I said about the man being respectful and having integrity. In some cases, your husband, let's say he don't meet some requirements as far as, he may not take out the trash on time, or let's say he lose his job, and he go through things where it's our role to support him and to help him in every way that we can, you know, because I know that my husband loves me, and I know that, you know, he will sacrifice for me. Well, I in turn do the same for him. And I make sure that I uphold him and I love him. And I submit to him because I know when he does give me instruction, it is for my good. And he does it out of love. It's not selfish. It's not for his own reason or purpose, but it's because he has the love of God. So he's able to love me and instruct me in the way of God. So the husband plays a major role as far as how the wife will in turn be, you know, because all we want to be is loved, you know, because we're made to serve and to be caregivers. Right. So that comes easy to the woman, you know, but what makes it hard on a woman is when a man does not love, or when a man fails in being a leader, you know, and so that's what, you know, can hurt a woman in a marriage.
Yeah, and that's the most hurtful aspect of that relationship is when the people in the marriage fail to live up to the titles. Yeah. Because the titles actually instruct you on what you are called to be. If I'm called to be a husband, that means that I represent my wife in every way, shape, or form. So if I do something and I embarrass her, I've actually failed to live up to the call of being a husband. If she fails to be the kind of woman that projects godliness and holiness, well, actually, she has not lived up to the title of being a wife. Right. And when we enter into this relationship, we have to understand that we're called to meet that standard. That if I assume the role of a wife or a husband, then that is greater than making my name great. Or making sure that I'm promoted, or making sure that I'm out front. No, we together, we want the best for each other. Right. If she's failing, then I'm failing. Right. If I'm failing, she's failing. And as long as we understand that, and as long as we understand what love is calling for, then as a married couple, we will always succeed because we understand we succeed together.
Yes. And I think what has really made us successful for 20 years is we love God more than we love each other. That's key. You know, because, you know, when you love God more than you love each other, you respect God and you love God, and you hold each other accountable to the ways of God. And you want to please God, and in pleasing God, you will please your spouse, you know. And so that's what really has kept us together. And not only that, is during the hard times, you know, we have an anchor. You know, during the hard times, we have God that we can go to and say, God, help us. You know, not only when we're having hard times, but even when we may hurt each other. Right. You know, we can go to God and ask God to help us, you know, overcome, you know. But I think one of the main things that causes you to be successful in your marriage is communication. Right. You know, communicating, being open to each other. And love is the thing that helps everything. Because if I know my husband loves me, I can tell him anything. And that anything doesn't have to be just positive things. It could be negative things. Right. You know, and we can work through those things by communicating.
Yeah. And, you know, at the end of the day, one of the things that we've always had understanding on is mutual respect. My wife demands that I respect her. That even when I may be angry or upset about something, I still give her respect. And she does the same for us. We look at it like this. When we communicate, it's with a respectful tone, and it's with the understanding that, okay, if I see something negative, it's not that I'm trying to tear you down, or I'm not going to question her intelligence. I'm not going to question her womanhood. I'm going to say, hey, look, this is something that, you know, I'm not pleased with. Right. And I state that. And she's always been able to process it and then come back, and then we examine where we are as far as that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we know it's over, whenever we've had a disagreement, this is one thing that we practice in 20 years of marriage, is when we've argued, we know it's over when we can laugh about it.
Yeah.
When we laugh about something that we've talked about or had an issue, we know it's over and we know it's settled. And as a couple, you're going to have to understand when you're at that point. When you're at that point where, okay, it's over, we can both go on. And that has allowed us, that's one of the secrets of our marriage, is that understanding of, okay, it's over.
Yeah.
We're not going to bring it up. We're not going to talk about it. You made this mistake or I made this mistake, and she's pointed out or I pointed out, and then it's over.
Right. And then we just make fun of it and make fun of each other.
Right.
Because you got to have fun in your marriage. You know, you can't take yourself so serious. Right. You know, I think too, you know, we were friends 5 years before we married, you know, and so we had a strong foundation of friendship. You know, so we're able to confide in each other, talk to each other, trust each other, and have fun with each other. You know, a lot of people, you know, don't even know how to have fun with each other. And you got to have that passion in your marriage, that love in your marriage, you know, and it has really helped us through, you know, our toughest times, because we're able to have fun even when it's hard, you know.
And that was one of the things that attracted me to her. You know, I think we're so attracted to beauty and you know, that's something that maybe adds to the attraction and allows you to get to know a person further. But it should never be the thing that, okay, the first thing somebody asks you about your wife is, oh, she's beautiful. Well, is she intelligent? Is she the kind of person that motivates you? Is she the kind of person? What is it about her that helps your love to endure? And I would say the fact that I can always talk to her. I've had very few really close male friends. My wife is really my best friend. When I have something that is really bothering me or really something that I struggle with, I don't go to, you know, well, my partner over here, I talk to my wife. I talk to God about it first, but then I always go to my wife and I express how I'm feeling. And she's always been understanding enough to say, okay, let's talk about it. And she's been a counselor. She's been a friend. She's been somebody that I can explore the world with. She's been somebody that understands what I'm about. And if you ever find that, or you should find that before you get married. Right. You know, before you get married, you should have an understanding of what will help the love endure between you and that person once you get married.
You know, the thing that I would say has been a blessing for me in our marriage with my husband is the fact that he pulls out the potential that God has put in me. And he knows and recognizes the gifts and talents that's in me. And he recognizes my strengths and my weaknesses. And, you know, he holds me to a high standard. And I think every woman needs that in their marriage, where their husband is confident in himself enough, sure in himself enough, where he can encourage the woman to be her best. You know, a lot of times you see in a marriage where, you know, the woman is just supporting the dream of the husband. And what I love about my husband is not only do I support him, but he support me. And he makes sure that I'm living up to what God has called me to live up to. And the thing about that is, that's when you know that somebody truly loves you, is when they can recognize who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and really encourage you and support you. You know, I talk to a lot of women where, you know, their husbands have discouraged them from, you know, going forward, you know, and so I thank God that, you know, he is like God in the fact that, you know, he has high standards and expectations for me. And he pushes me to be my best me.
Okay.
And, you know, like what my husband said earlier, when he confides in me, that's a compliment to me. You know, and that makes me feel better as a woman that my husband will talk to me about things that matters to him. And women want to feel that you know, a man their husband can come to them and be open with them and talk to them about what's going on with them.
And being married to a great woman, you know, the thing that I had to understand, and God taught me at the very beginning of our relationship, was you're going to have to be confident to be with a woman that wants to be great. You don't want a wife that is not living up to any form of standard or doesn't want to be great. Why would you want to be with somebody that doesn't want to be the best that they can be? And too often times when people get together, they get together and with the understanding is, I'm better than you know, or I want you to be this so that I can shine. And the fact that she is great, the fact that she's an educated, university trained woman of God, that means, okay, you got to have your standards very high because you with a wife that has high standards. So it makes me better that she wants to be great and that she thrives and that she wants to be the best that she can be. The thing that hurts a marriage is when, okay, I only want to go here and I want to keep my wife where she's here so I can, so-called shine. And that's not what God is called for, because we are one and a team that we want to be great. This is Team Ellis.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing greater than a man giving his name to the woman that he loves.
Right.
That, okay, we represent Ellis, the house of Ellis. We are a team.
Right.
She's great, I'm great. I'm great, she's great. So it's a mutual love and affection for each other to be great before God that really has driven us and allowed us to be successful.
You know, it just reminds me of, you know, how God made Adam and Eve in the beginning. He said, let them have dominion. He wanted them to rule together.
Yes.
And, you know, another scripture says 2 is better than 1. You know, and so we come together as 2, but we are 1. The thing that I also admire and I appreciate about our marriage is that although we are 1, you know, we celebrate our individuality because when we come together, it's more powerful. And that's why it's so important to encourage one another and support each other, because as one, we'll be better.
Right.
You know.
I think that's been one of the great keys.
Yeah.
Since we've known each other, is that if my wife sees where I'm not living up to my potential, she will come and literally tell me, hey, look, you know, you gotta raise your level. You gotta raise your standards. She does not want me to be average. And she's always told me that before we got married and when we got married.
You're right.
She would not allow me to be average. She would not allow me to live below standards. And she's always counseled me, hey, we really need to pick it up. We need to move on. We need to get better. And so that has made a profound change in my life. Having her in my life has made me better. And when you are in a relationship, you're going to have to make that determination. You know, are we the best that we can be when you're married? And before you get married, you have to make that judgment. You have to say, is this person honestly?
Right.
Is he honestly? Is she honestly going to make me better?
Right.
And that's the honest truth, but it is.
Yes.
It is so hard for people to actually do that because they look at it and say, he'll get better. Or she'll get better. And unfortunately, that may not happen.
Right.
So you have to make that honest call to say, you know what, I'm going to sit here and say, is this person going to make me better?
Yes. You know, I just thank God because we had that time before we got married, you know, that we wanted to build a strong marriage. And when we were just friends, we discussed everything from children, finances, God, you know, and our personal development to get individually and together. And we established that before we got married. And we told each other what we expected, what we like, what we don't like, and we laid those things down. And we came to agreement that, hey, this is what we are going to be. And, you know, and we made sure that God was first in everything that we did.
Right, and that is the key. If you really want somebody and you want them to be successful in business, you want them to be a person that's going to take you all over the world, and this person say, I don't like to travel, you may have to decide that this is not for me. And that is an honest determination. Well, fortunately, we've run out of time. We had a great time welcoming you to our family table. This is Life and Family Matters with Curley and Moe. Please subscribe. God bless you. Amen.